Yo, what's going on guys, Camille here. I'm finally back, and in this video we're going to be doing a weapons tier list for Baizhu. So yeah, as always, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's begin. Alright, so starting off with his main things that he's gonna need on his weapon. He's gonna be a support slash healer. That's his main role. He might be played as like a main DPS, you can say, or damage dealer if you wanted to, but it's definitely not the optimal build for him, so we're not gonna cover it today. We're just gonna be ranking weapons based around his support slash healer build. And unfortunately, you cannot really build them for both at the same time. Maybe a little bit we're gonna see in a bit, but generally you're gonna have to choose one or the other because his damage is gonna scale off with attack alone. And as I said before, the DPS build is not really optimal, so we're just going to cover the support build, which is what he's intended to be played as. But yeah, for his support build, the first thing you're going to need is definitely going to be HP. Pretty much everything in his kit is going to scale off with HP. His healing, his shield, the passives, everything's going to scale off with HP. So you definitely want to have enough HP, which is around 50,000 HP to like max out everything. And although you don't have to get it from your weapon, having an HP weapon is still going to be pretty good. So I would say HP weapons are probably going to be the best. Next thing we're going to need is going to be energy recharge. His burst is going to cost a lot of energy, which is very expensive. So any energy recharge weapons are going to be pretty good. Elemental mastery might be usable too, to just like boost his reactions damage, but it's definitely not necessary. It's not really one of the best stats to have on a supportive Baizhu. So I wouldn't really say elemental mastery weapons are going to be like pretty good, although they're usable. And obviously since he's a support, any like supportive weapon that are going to give something to your team are going to be pretty good. So yeah, knowing this, let's rank his weapons. Alright, so first of all, starting off with the magic guide, it's just elemental mastery, and then it's just gonna increase your damage from the passive. Definitely not a very good weapon. I would put as C tier. Just for the elemental mastery substat, it's still like usable, I guess, but it's definitely one of the worst weapons for him. So yeah, it's going C tier. Thrill and Tails is gonna give you an HP substat, and then the passive is just gonna increase the attack of the character after you switch. It's a very good weapon, mainly for the HP substat. The passive is a good supportive passive, but generally for Baizhu's teams, I don't know if it's gonna be like that good. Usually his teams are not going to need that much attack, but it's still going to be pretty cool. And for the HP substat, it's definitely a good weapon, so I will put that like A tier. We have the Otherworldly Story. It's just energy recharge, and then it's going to like heal you from the passive. The passive is just pretty much useless, but the energy recharge substat is going to be pretty decent. So yeah, it's definitely not a top tier weapon, but it's going to be usable. I will put that B tier. Emerald Orb is pretty much the same thing with the magic guide, although it has way less elemental mastery, so it's pretty much the same thing. It's going C tier too. Twin Nephrite is just going to be crit rate, and then the passive is just going to increase your movement speed. As I said, for a DPS build, maybe, but for a supportive Baizhu, it's pretty much useless, so I would put that D tier. And the Ember's Bed is pretty much the same thing too. It's going C tier. Same thing as the Emerald Orb and the Magic Guide. Now we have the Favonius Codex. It's going to give you energy recharge, and then the Favonius passive, which is just helping out your team with energy. That's going to be very good in my opinion. Although it's not going to increase your HP, but it's going to solve all of your energy problems for you and for the rest of your team. So it's definitely a very good weapon. I would honestly put that A tier too. Maybe a lower A tier because it's not going to give you any HP, but generally speaking, it's definitely a very good weapon to use on Baizhu. We have the Witsit. It's just going to give you crit damage and then a random thing from the passive. Pretty much all of them are not really going to be that important unless you're playing Baizhu as like a main DPS, as I said before, which is not what we're doing right now. So yeah, I'll definitely put that D tier. It's not a very good weapon for Baizhu. Next up, we have the Sacrificial Fragments. It's going to give you elemental mastery as a substat, which is not the best, but cool. But the main thing is that the passive is going to reset your elemental skills cooldown, which is the Sacrificial's passive. That can actually be very good. It just means more healing and mainly a little bit more energy, which is going to be very important on Baizhu. And the elemental mastery substat is not bad too. So I would classify the Sacrificial as like a usable weapon. I definitely wouldn't say it's a top tier weapon, but it's definitely usable. So I would put that like higher B tier. Royal Grimoire is just attack and then the bullshit passive, so it's going D tier. Solar Pearl for a supportive build is not going to work. It's just crit damage and then the other passive, so it's going D tier too. And now we've got Prototype Amber. It's a free to play weapon. It's going to give you HP, and it's also going to give you energy, so it's going to like hit two things at once. You're going to have HP, it's going to increase your healing and your support and stuff like that, and it's also going to help you out with energy, and it's also going to help you heal the rest of your team. It's not much, but it's definitely very good, especially with refinements. It's a free to play weapon. It's definitely going to be a very good weapon on Baizhu. Honestly, I would say it's on par with his like signature weapon, which we're gonna see in a little bit. So yeah, I would definitely put that S tier. It's one of the top weapons for Baizhu, which is pretty cool. It's a free-to-play weapon. Mappa Mare is just elemental mastery, and then it's just gonna increase your damage. Again, just for the elemental mastery substat, maybe it's usable, but it's definitely not a very good weapon. So I'll put that C tier. Blackcliff is just crit damage and then attack. D tier, nothing really can be used here. Eye of Perception is just attack and then damage, so it's going D tier too. Wine and Song is just energy recharge as a substat. It's not a very good substat, but it's still pretty good. And then the passive is just gonna increase your attack and stamina and stuff like that, which is not really that important. Just for the energy recharge substat, I would say it's usable, but it's definitely not like a top tier weapon or anything. I would put that like lower B tier. Frostbearer is just attack and then damage, so it's going D tier. Exact same thing with the Dodoco Tails, it's going D tier too. Action Ring is gonna give you energy recharge, and then the passive is just gonna give you elemental damage bonus. Depending on your team, obviously, it's gonna work on electro teams. Other than that, it's not gonna be that good, but with electro teams, it's definitely gonna be a very good weapon. If you're using them with like Sainu, for example, or someone like that, it could be very decent. So yeah, I'll put that like mid B tier too. Oathsworn Eye is just attack and then it's gonna increase your energy recharge. It's usable too, but I wouldn't really say it's that good. I'll put it either like higher C tier or maybe lower B tier. Maybe lower B tier, I would say. It's not even that much energy recharge. You know what? I'll put that like higher C tier. Wandering Even Star is just elemental mastery and then support from the elemental mastery you're building. It's not really gonna work for Baizhu, so I'll put that like C tier. Fruit of Fulfillment is just energy recharge, and then the passive is just gonna increase your elemental mastery. It's gonna decrease your attack, but who cares? It's also not like a super good weapon for Baizhu, but it's definitely still usable just for the energy recharge substat. So yeah, I'll put that B tier too. It's a very average weapon. Now for the 5 stars, we have the Skyward Atlas. It's just attack and then your elemental damage. I wouldn't really say it's that good on Baizhu, so I'll put that like either C or D tier, probably D tier. There's nothing really that can carry this weapon to be that good. The high base attack, it doesn't really need that. Elemental damage bonus is kind of meh, and yeah, the rest of the passive is just whatever. For pretty much the same thing with the Lost Prayer, it's just crit and then elemental damage bonus, and it's not even gonna work that well. Maybe for the crit, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna increase your damage a little bit, but generally speaking, it's definitely not a good weapon for Baizhu. So yeah, it's going D tier too. Pretty much the same thing with the Memory of Dust, it's just attack damage, that's it. It's gonna increase your shield strength, but I think it's just gonna increase it on Baizhu himself, and it doesn't really matter. So yeah, it's going D tier too. Everlasting Moonglow, I mean, finally. It's gonna give you HP, which is very good. It's gonna increase your healing bonus, which is also very good on Baizhu. The rest of the passive is kind of whatever. It's just gonna increase your normal attack damage bonus based around your HP, which, you know, it can work on Baizhu, but you're not really going to be using his auto attacks. You can if you want to have more energy, but, you know, it's a cool weapon for Baizhu in general, mainly for the HP, and it's also going to increase your healing bonus. So I'll put it at like A tier. A rare W for the donuts. Very rare. Kyra's Verity is just crit damage, and then it's just going to increase your elemental skill damage. Probably D tier too. 1,000 Floating Dreams is just basically an elemental mastery stat stick. I would say it's almost the same as like the other elemental mastery weapons at C tier, but it's gonna give you a shit ton of elemental mastery. It's way more than the other weapons, so maybe I'll put it at like lower B tier, but generally speaking, I wouldn't really recommend using it on Baizhu. Jelitala's Remembrance is just crit damage and then your auto attacks damage. It's going D tier too. And finally, we have his signature weapon. We finally have it, the Jade's Catalyst. It's called the Jadefall Splendor. We're gonna review that weapon later, so make sure to subscribe. We're gonna see on like all of the characters and stuff like that. We're gonna see if it's worth wishing for or not, but for right now, it's just gonna give you HP. It's also gonna give you energy from the passive and elemental damage bonus. It's definitely good for Baizhu. To be honest, it's not like super good. For a signature weapon, obviously, it's not like super good. I would say it's gonna be probably on par with like the Prototype Amber. It's gonna be better, but not by much. So yeah, for a signature weapon, it's kind of disappointing for Baizhu himself, but I guess that's good. He's gonna be free to play friendly. But yeah, it's definitely still gonna be his best weapon, so it's definitely going on the top of S tier. It also looks good on him, so yeah. But yeah, that was Baizhu's weapons tier list. I would say it's very free to play friendly, just for the Prototype Amber. It's a free weapon, you can just craft it and use it and have refinements on it. It's gonna be even better, and you can use the top tier Baizhus just with the Prototype Amber. Even if you don't have it or you don't want to use it, there are still like other options. Most of the 5-star weapons are not even gonna work on him, so yeah, it's definitely free to play friendly weapons wise. But yeah, that was the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and see y'all in the next video. Peace.